to switch one or more of her kids with their children so they could get to go to France and to freedom. She could have made a lot of gold, but she absolutely refused. Getting to France took a lot of work. For one thing, Grandma had no direct family in France, and a lady with the same last name had to be convinced to sign papers claiming she was related. After signing the papers, they got lost in the mail. There again, a random person helped. It was a Frenchman named Bernard Rieder who was taken by the idea of helping a Cambodian refugee family. He demanded that paperwork be done. He cajoled, he yelled at staff in the French Ministry of Foreign Affairs office until once and demanded they reopen because, by his watch, it wasn't closing time yet. You wouldn't know this, but your grandmother made it possible for us to live in France. She worked hard to sew fancy tablecloths and napkins with embroidered flowers for rich people who could buy it as artwork and pay her pennies for each painstaking piece of work. With all the stress of having survived the Khmer Rouge, she still managed to eke out a living. Once, when Sam envied a friend's ping-pong paddle, she took him to the store to buy one. In 1985, she packed her bags again and took Sophie, Sam, and I to the U.S., where it became possible for her to start a new life, to begin her version of the American dream. By then, she was already 49 years old. She manned a grocery store her sister had opened. She worked as a seamstress in the garment factories of Oakland's Chinatown, making fancy dresses that had labels like Jessica McClintock. Dresses nobody we knew could afford, much less dream of. But she used those skills to make Sophie clothes that were just as good and custom-made, and to make us what we could not afford to buy. Once, when in high school, I really wanted a sweater with the image of the Yellow Jackets, Berkeley High School's logo. She embroidered one that became the envy of my friends. The very idea of Christmas was to haul from the garage a plastic Christmas tree and to decorate it with some pathetic lights. We had few, if any, ornaments, much less gifts to put underneath the tree. But material things, though nice, are impermanent. It was her love that mattered, and she gave us more than we needed in her 73 years. All through this time, she pressed us all to study in school and to go on to university. No, she was not interested in a life of quick riches. Often she was asked, "Why are you letting your kids do so much schooling? It makes no sense. Berkeley, or Berserkly, is full of crazy people. Have them work instead." But Grandma never once believed that cutting school short to work made sense. She believed in education, and for her, education was not only about making money, it was about learning how to think. This from a woman who had 7 years of schooling in her life, but ended up speaking 5 languages: Khmer, Cantonese, Vietnamese, French, and English. She'd always tell me, knowing another language will help you figure out if you're going to be led to the slaughter and to save yourself. She believed in and was living proof of the power of language and knowledge to save lives. Somehow she didn't need any more to know that our role as her children was to get an education. And we did. Eventually we had you as our children, nieces, and nephews. And while you may be too young now to understand it, you need to know just what Grandma meant, because she meant the world to us. And our expectations of you are the same as she had of us. She suffered so that we did not have to, and so that you will not have to either. She saved 6 lives from the killing fields, and with 14 grandkids and counting, she saved, to date, 20 lives. The Talmud says that if you save a life, you save the world. The Chinese have another proverb: when you save a life, you are responsible for that life. She's responsible, in the original sense of the word, for all of our lives. Yes, your grandmother, Youk Lim, really was an incredible woman. Thank you.
Thank you, Sophal. That was an awesome eulogy. I have a eulogy for my aunt, and again, it is with great respect and love to all of you, and thank you for coming to join us. It is a big loss to us, especially to my mom, her sister. They talk on the phone every day, every week. My mom loves my aunt so much. When I was young,